He was never on the guest list. No one remembered inviting him. And yet, there he was, at the front row of a funeral, watching silently. Today, we investigate the chilling mystery behind the man in the funeral photo. A man linked to a murder, a missing brother, and a single torn photograph that may hold the truth. You're watching Vanished Whispers. True Crime. August 2019. Blue River, Oregon. 25-year-old Lacey Monroe was found dead in her apartment. No forced entry. No robbery. One clean stab wound to the chest. She was found by her brother Ethan Monroe. But weeks later, he disappeared too, leaving behind one flash drive and one photograph. The photo showed Lacey, smiling, standing next to a man no one could name. Ethan had written 5 words on the back. He's the one. At funeral. But the man's face was ripped away. Still, detectives knew what to look for. Fast forward. March 2021. Ethan's buried laptop was recovered deep in the woods. The files were nearly destroyed, but a local tech forensics expert recovered a corrupted image file. File name, funeralman_final.jpg. It showed the Monroe family gravesite, Lacey's casket, mourners surrounding it, and among them, a man in a black trench coat, standing apart from the rest. No known connection to the family, and no one could name him.
He wasn't from town. I've done every service in Blue River for 15 years. I know every face. But this man, cold, didn't cry, just watched.
Detectives enhanced the photo. He appeared to be in his late 30s, short cropped hair, clean shaven, hands clasped in front of him, a single gold button glinting on his coat. The same style button found at Lacey's crime scene.
Facial recognition came up empty. No DMV match, no priors. This guy was a ghost. Whoever he is, he didn't come to grieve. He came to confirm something.
Ethan vanished 1 week after the funeral. 1 week after seeing that man. Neighbors said Ethan had been acting paranoid, setting up cameras, rarely sleeping. One neighbor recalled hearing him shout at his laptop, "You were at the funeral. I know who you are." Then he was gone.
He left behind a note, but it just said one thing: don't trust the photo. I never knew what he meant by that.
Inside the cracked laptop was one more detail. A second file, corrupted, recovered by a federal forensic team. A blurry image, CCTV from a gas station, time-stamped the night before Lacey's death. Ethan in frame. Next to him, the same man from the funeral photo. Was Ethan working with him? Was he hunting him? Did Ethan confront the killer and vanish because of it? Or was Ethan never missing at all? One final clue. In the corner of that gas station footage, the reflection of a van. License plate partially visible. It read, RM46, a partial plate traced to a vehicle last registered in 2004 in Wyoming. Untraceable. Gone. Just like the man in the photo. To this day, the man's identity remains unknown. Lacey Monroe's case still unsolved. Ethan Monroe still missing. The photo now locked in evidence. A reminder that someone, somewhere, is watching. Who is he? A grieving stranger? A killer in plain sight? Or the missing link between 2 disappearances that shook a town? This is more than a mystery. It's a warning. It's a warning. Some answers are standing right in front of us, disguised in silence. This has been Vanished Whispers, True Crime. Like, comment, and subscribe for more stories the world tried to bury. And remember, some photos are worth more than 1,000 words. They might be the last clue.
As the dust settled on Lacey Monroe's unsolved murder, investigators turned to those who were there, the witnesses. Their voices, recorded in dimly lit rooms, paint a fractured picture of the mysterious man who haunted both the funeral and the night she died. First, an elderly neighbor, her voice trembling. He stood in the back, never spoke, hat pulled low. I thought he was a relative, but there was something about the way he watched everyone, like he was memorizing faces. Next, Lacey's childhood friend. I don't remember anyone out of place. Everyone knew everyone. But I did see a van parked down the street. Didn't think much of it then. A local florist, delivering arrangements that day, offered a different recollection. There was a man, yes. He asked for directions, polite, but his hands were shaking. He left before the service started. But not all statements aligned. Another attendee, her words clipped and nervous. "No, I never saw anyone like that. I think people are just imagining things. It was a hard day for all of us." Yet, a teenage boy, Lacey's neighbor, shared what he'd never told police. "Late that night, I heard footsteps outside. When I looked, I saw a figure standing near the river. He just vanished into the trees." Despite the contradictions, a pattern emerged: uncertainty, fear, and a hesitance to reveal too much. Some witnesses seemed to hold back, glancing over their shoulders even in the safety of the interview room. Why the secrecy? What did they fear? Was it the memory of a stranger, or the knowledge that he might return? Their stories, woven together, deepen the mystery. The man in the photo, present yet invisible. A shadow at the edge of every account. In a case built on silence, even the truth is hard to recognize. The public only saw headlines and rumors, but behind closed doors, the investigation into Lacey Monroe's murder grew more fraught and more secretive. Police transcripts and interrogation room recordings, never before released, reveal the tense atmosphere as Detective Harding pressed those closest to Lacey for answers. Sound of a tape recorder clicking on. Detective Harding, voice low, measured. "Ethan, let's go over it one more time. What time did you leave the funeral home?" Ethan, voice shaky. "I told you, after everyone else. I wanted a minute alone, to say goodbye." Detective Harding. "Witnesses say you were seen outside 15 minutes before the service ended. Can you explain that?" Ethan, hesitates. "I just needed air. I walked around the block, that's all." Paper shuffling, a chair scrapes. Detective Harding. "Why did your phone ping near the Blue River at 10:46 p.m.? Ethan. I don't know. Maybe it was in my car. I drove by after everything." Detective Harding. "Ethan, you said earlier you went straight home. Which is it?" Ethan, voice barely audible. I don't remember. It's all a blur." Recorder fast forwards. A new voice. Lacey's cousin, voice tense. Detective Harding. "Did you see Ethan after the service?" Cousin. "He was off. Kept watching the door. Left before the rest of us." Detective Harding. "Did he say where he was going?" Cousin. "No. But he looked scared, like he saw someone he didn't expect." Inconsistencies pile up. Timelines don't match. Ethan's answers change, his demeanor growing more strained with each session. Detective Harding's suspicion hardens. Someone knows more than they're saying. Someone is hiding something. But what and why? The transcripts, heavy with tension and half-truths, hint at secrets still buried beneath grief and fear. As the detective's questions grow sharper, the truth seems to slip further away, lost in the shadows of the interrogation room. Just when Detective Harding thought the puzzle couldn't get more twisted, new evidence surfaced. Evidence that threatened to unravel everything the investigation thought it knew. It started with a discovery deep in the woods near the Blue River. A search team, combing the area for any overlooked clues, stumbled upon something chilling. A blood-stained scarf, half buried beneath a tangle of roots. Forensics would later confirm the blood matched Lacey Monroe's. But that wasn't all. Back at the precinct, a technician flagged a voicemail from Lacey's phone, time-stamped the night of her death. The message was brief, distorted by static, but Lacey's voice was unmistakable. Frantic, urgent. Detective Harding replayed the message again and again, trying to decipher the missing words. Who was he? And who was Lacey trying to warn? Then, a final shock. A photo found on Ethan's phone. It showed the group at the funeral home, all faces somber except Lacey's. In the image, her face had been crudely scratched out. Digital analysis suggested the photo had been altered after it was taken, but by who and why? Each new piece of evidence raised more questions than answers. Was the scarf planted, or a sign Lacey tried to escape? Did the voicemail mean she knew her killer? And who erased her from the photo? Ethan or someone else? As the case grew darker, the line between victim and suspect began to blur. The truth, it seemed, was still hiding, waiting to be dragged into the light. As Detective Harding pored over the new evidence, a chilling pattern began to emerge, one that pointed away from the suspects everyone thought they knew. That's when an anonymous letter arrived at the precinct, its envelope sealed with a strange, waxy symbol. Inside, a single sentence. "You're looking in the wrong place. The river keeps its secrets." The team traced the letter's origin to an abandoned cabin upriver, a place rumored by locals to be haunted long before the murders. When investigators entered, they found walls covered in cryptic symbols and faded photographs of the victims, pictures that predated the murders by months. In the center of the room, a mirror stood shattered, its shards reflecting something that seemed to move just beyond sight. But the most disturbing discovery came from a security camera near the funeral home. The footage, enhanced and slowed, showed a shadowy figure lurking outside on the night of Lacey's death. Its shape impossible to identify, its movements unnatural, almost inhuman. Detective Harding now faced the unthinkable. Was someone orchestrating these events from the shadows? Or was something far older and darker at play? The evidence pointed in every direction, and nowhere at all. The final shot lingers on the broken mirror in the cabin, as the camera slowly zooms in. For a split second, a pale face appears in the glass, eyes wide, mouth open in a silent scream, before flickering away into darkness. Did the river claim another secret? Or is the real killer still out there, watching, waiting? What really happened on the night of the Blue River murders? The answer remains just out of reach, and the darkness is far from finished. In a dimly lit interview room, tension hangs thick in the air. The camera lingers on trembling hands clasped tightly together, hands belonging to a witness no one knew existed, until now. The detectives lean in, their faces half-shadowed, as the witness, Emily Crane, a former caretaker at the Riverside Chapel, begins to speak. Her voice quivers at first, but soon steadies, drawing everyone in. "I was there the night Lacey died," she confesses, eyes darting between the detectives. "I saw someone outside the funeral home, someone I recognized." As Emily describes a meeting between Lacey, the mysterious man from the footage, and another figure, Detective Harding's own partner, the room grows colder. Cutaways flash, a torn piece of fabric clutched in Emily's fist, its pattern matching the suit worn by the shadowy figure in the security footage. The detectives exchange glances. This is the missing link they've been searching for. Emily's testimony weaves a web of hidden alliances and secret meetings, revealing that the so-called uninvited guest was more than an outsider. He was connected to the victims, and to the investigation itself. She recalls overhearing fragments of a heated argument, threats, accusations, and a cryptic warning about the river. "They said the water would wash everything away," she whispers, voice barely audible. The new evidence, a small blood-stained locket, ties the mysterious man to both the cabin and the riverbank, bridging the gap between past and present crimes. As the detectives absorb this revelation, the camera pans to Emily's haunted face, illuminated by a single swinging bulb. Suddenly, the investigation's focus shifts. Old suspects are cleared, new motives come to light, and the real mastermind emerges from the shadows, someone no one expected. The scene ends with Emily's final words. "You're not safe, none of us are. He's still out there, and he knows you're getting close." The detectives sit in stunned silence, the weight of the truth settling in. The hunt has just begun. The river's secrets are deeper and deadlier than anyone imagined. Split screens flicker to life. Interrogation rooms, faces half-lit, tension palpable. Audio waveforms ripple across the screen as snippets of voices overlap, each confession more revealing than the last. Detective, voice distorted by tape. "State your name for the record." Ethan's roommate, voice shaky. "It's Tyler Reeves. I didn't want to get involved, but Ethan, he was scared. He said someone was following him, not just after Lacey died, even before." Audio waveform spikes as Tyler's voice cracks. On another screen, the local pastor sits in silence, hands folded tightly, eyes darting toward the one-way mirror. Pastor, soft, tremulous. "You don't understand. They all came to me for guidance. Lacey, Ethan, even Detective Harding. Secrets were confessed, sins, and threats. I tried to keep the peace, but the river has its own rules." Quick cuts. Detectives pinning a blood-stained locket and torn fabric to a board. Red string connects photos, timelines, and names. The camera lingers on a shadowy figure outside the window, unseen by those inside. Tyler, overlapping. Ethan knew about the cabin. He said he saw the man from the funeral photo there, late at night. He thought it was just grief messing with his head, but then he found the locket. That's when he started panicking. Pastor, voice rising. "You have to believe me. I never meant for any of this to happen. I heard them arguing that night. Lacey, the man in the suit, and someone else. I saw Harding's partner leave, his jacket torn. He looked terrified." Audio glitches. Multiple voices, panicked and pleading, blend together. Visuals. The detectives' board now crowded with evidence, a timeline forming, new connections emerging. Detective, urgent. "So who was really pulling the strings?" Tyler, voice breaking. "There's someone else, someone we all missed. He's still out there, watching." The audio crackles with static. The pastor's final words echo as the screen fades to black. Pastor, whisper. "The river doesn't forget, and neither will he." Music swells. The detectives stand before the evidence board, realization dawning. The conspiracy runs deeper than they ever imagined, and the clock is ticking. The cabin's floorboards creak beneath the detectives' boots as they sweep their flashlights across the rotting interior. Suddenly, a hollow thud. One detective kneels, prying open a concealed trapdoor. Dust billows upward, and the beam of light falls onto a narrow staircase spiraling into darkness. Down below, the hidden room is revealed, walls lined with grim photographs, faces scratched out or circled in red ink. Close-ups show coded messages scrawled on yellowing scraps of paper, and at the center, a diary. Its cover slick with dried blood. As gloved hands flip through the pages, grotesque sketches and frantic entries recount nights of surveillance, threats, and confessions that never made it to the police. A forensic technician's voice trembles as she reads a chilling passage. "He said the river keeps secrets, but I saw what he did to Lacey. I saw him with Harding's partner. If they find this, tell them I tried to stop it." The detectives exchange horrified glances as flashbacks flicker. Ethan's haunted gaze, Lacey's last phone call, the man in the funeral photo lurking at the cabin's edge. Suddenly a photograph falls from the diary, showing a familiar face standing in the shadows, unnoticed until now. The forensic team gasps. It's someone the investigation had cleared weeks ago. Back in the present, the families are called in. Tears stream down faces as the detectives reveal the truth. The real puppet master was hidden among them all along. The emotional toll is heavy. Grief, anger, and betrayal ripple through the room. The scene ends with a final, lingering shot of the blood-stained diary, its secrets exposed at last. Yet the river outside continues to flow, silent and unforgiving. Music fades, leaving only the sound of water and the echo of unanswered questions. The rain pours relentlessly, drumming against the cold, empty alley where the final confrontation awaits. Detectives, faces etched with exhaustion and resolve, step forward, evidence in hand. The accused stands at the heart of the storm, shadows cast by flickering neon lights, eyes darting between the investigators and the final witness. Close-ups capture trembling hands, tear-streaked cheeks, and the raw anguish of those who've lost everything. The detectives lay out the evidence photographs from the hidden room, blood-stained diary pages, and the damning confession tapes that echo through the alleyway. The true mastermind's defiance crumbles, replaced by a flood of guilt and sorrow. In slow motion, the final witness steps forward, voice breaking as they recount the night by the river, the secrets kept, the lies told, and the moment everything changed. The confession spills out, each word a weight lifted and a wound reopened. Faces flash in montage, the victims remembered, the families finding fragile closure, detectives embracing under the rain. The story's tangled threads finally unravel as the mastermind is led away, head bowed in defeat. The detectives share a silent look, justice at last, but at a cost. As the rain eases, the camera pans across the river's surface, reflecting the city's trembling lights. The case is closed, but its echoes will linger long after the storm has passed. Music fades, replaced by the gentle hush of rain and the distant, hopeful whisper of dawn breaking. Sunlight pierces the clouds at last, casting golden warmth over a town forever changed. In the quiet aftermath, families gather in gentle embraces, some tears remain, but they are met with tentative smiles and whispered words of hope. Children place fresh flowers at simple memorials, while neighbors exchange nods of understanding, binding the community closer in the wake of tragedy. Detectives, weary yet resolute, clear their desks and pack away the case files. Each photograph, each piece of evidence is tucked into storage, a chapter closed, but never forgotten. In a quiet office, one detective pauses, gazing out the window at the sunlit river, the weight of the investigation lingering in their eyes. They share a silent moment with their partner, both changed by the darkness they've faced and the light they've helped restore. The river flows quietly now, its surface calm and unbroken, carrying away the echoes of fear and sorrow. Yet the scars remain reminders of what was lost and what was found. Justice, imperfect but real, has brought a measure of peace. The wounds of trauma may never fully heal, but memory endures, urging vigilance and compassion. As the town rebuilds, the final message is clear: the pursuit of truth is never easy, and the price of justice can be steep. But in the aftermath, hope emerges, a testament to resilience, to the strength of community, and to the enduring power of memory. As sunlight dances on the water, we remember, we heal, and we move forward. The storm has passed, but its lessons will guide us, always. Just as the town begins to settle, a shadow stirs beneath the calm. A figure steps forward, unseen until now. Late at night, in the flickering light of a back alley, A new witness finds the courage to approach the authorities. Their voice trembles, but their words pierce the silence. They hold a secret that could shatter everything believed about the case. The camera pans over trembling hands clutching an old, weathered photograph, one that shows the victims, years before, standing side by side with the mysterious man. The image is unmistakable, the connection undeniable. The witness reveals a chilling truth. The victims and the man shared a bond forged in secrecy, tied to a forgotten incident that was buried deep within the town's history. As detectives listen, shock and dread ripple through the room. The witness's story weaves a tangled web of betrayal and loyalty, of debts unpaid and promises broken. Tears glisten in their eyes as they confess their own role, however small, in the events that set tragedy in motion. But just as the puzzle seems to gain a crucial piece, the witness hesitates. They clutch at their chest, voice dropping to a whisper. There's more. Someone else was there that night. Someone who's still watching, still waiting. The screen fades to black, the unresolved question hanging in the air. Who is the unseen player lurking in the shadows, and what truth have they yet to reveal? The calm after the storm was only an illusion. The real secret has yet to surface, and the true end remains unwritten. The morning after the chilling revelation, the detective team gathers in the dimly lit archives of the town's police station. Dust motes swirl in shafts of sunlight as boxes are pulled from forgotten shelves, each one heavy with the weight of untold stories. In the silence, a junior investigator slides open a battered folder marked Cold Case 1978. The contents spill out: faded photographs, yellowed newspaper clippings, and transcripts of interviews long since abandoned. As the team sifts through the evidence, a sense of unease settles in. The details are hauntingly familiar. Victims vanishing without a trace, all connected by a single enigmatic figure described in witness accounts. A stranger, always present but never truly seen. The same uninvited guest from their current investigation. A detective reads aloud a chilling excerpt from an old interview, the words echoing through the room. He was there the night she disappeared. No one ever asked who invited him. The realization hits hard. This is not an isolated tragedy, but part of a decades-old pattern, a cycle of disappearances that has plagued the town for generations. The camera lingers on the investigators' faces, shock, fear, and a growing determination. The past and present blur together and the stakes soar. The community's sense of safety is shattered anew as word spreads. The danger was never truly gone. It was only waiting in the shadows, patient and unseen. As dusk falls, the detectives huddle over the cold case files, their resolve steeled. The hunt is no longer just for a murderer, but for the truth that has haunted their town for decades. And somewhere in the darkness, the uninvited guest watches, knowing the past is finally catching up. The screen fades, the tension rising, as the town braces for what secrets tomorrow might bring. Night falls heavy over the detective's small apartment, rain tapping a relentless rhythm against the window pane. The main detective, exhausted but restless, sits alone at the kitchen table, the cold case files splayed before them. Shadows flicker along the walls, elongating into strange, twisting forms. As the clock ticks past midnight, fatigue gives way to something deeper: unease, then dread. The detective's mind drifts, replaying the faces of the missing, the cryptic warnings from the past, and the uninvited guest's spectral presence. Suddenly, the room grows colder. The overhead light flickers. In the reflection of the window, a figure stands behind the same blurred stranger from countless witness accounts. The detective whirls around. No one is there. Breathing quickens, heart pounds. Memories surface, unbidden, half-remembered childhood nightmares. A shadow at the foot of the bed, a voice whispering from the darkness. You were there too. The detective's hands tremble as they recall a long-forgotten family photo, a stranger lurking in the background. Was it just a trick of the light, or something more? The lines between past and present, reality and nightmare, begin to blur. The detective questions everything, every memory, every clue. Could the uninvited guest be more than a man? An omen, a curse, a presence that has haunted the town? And the detective's own life for far longer than anyone dared to admit? Rain lashes harder. The detective closes their eyes, willing the visions away, but the whispers persist. You can't run from what's inside you. The camera lingers on the detective's haunted face, caught between fear and determination. Alone in the storm, they realize the truth isn't just hiding in the shadows of the town. It's lurking in the shadows of their own mind. The hunt for answers has become a battle for their very sanity. As thunder rolls, the screen fades to black, leaving the audience questioning what is real and what darkness waits to claim the next soul. A gray dawn settles over the town square, where hundreds gather beneath leaden skies for a memorial like no other. Candles flicker in trembling hands, photographs of the lost line makeshift altars, their faces a silent plea for justice. The detective stands at the edge of the crowd, shoulders hunched beneath the weight of sleepless nights and unanswered questions. Families clutch one another, eyes red-rimmed with grief and hope mingled in every glance. A local pastor begins the ceremony, voice wavering as he speaks of healing and remembrance. The community breathes as one, mourning, longing, waiting for closure. But as the first eulogy ends, a sharp crackle erupts from the public address system, static. Then a distorted, inhuman voice cuts through the hush. You mourn the dead, but the game is not over. You seek the truth, but you're blind to what's right in front of you. Tonight the shadows will choose again. A collective gasp ripples through the crowd. Children cry, mothers clutch their loved ones tighter. The detective's blood runs cold, eyes scanning the faces for a sign, any sign of the intruder. Panic threatens to boil over, but the killer's message is clear. No one is safe, not even here, not even now. As authorities scramble to trace the signal, the memorial dissolves into chaos. The family's anguish is palpable, their hope now tainted with dread. The detective's resolve hardens. The killer has drawn the line in the sand, daring them to cross it. The camera lingers on the memorial candles, their flames guttering in the wind, a fragile light against the encroaching darkness. The final confrontation is no longer a question of if, but when. The hunt has become personal, and tonight the shadows are watching. Night falls heavy after the chaos in the square. The detective's office is cloaked in shadows, the only light a desk lamp flickering over stacks of unsolved files. Just as fatigue threatens to claim him, a knock shatters the silence. A courier, face obscured, delivers a plain, battered package. No return address, no clues, only the detective's name, scrawled in a trembling hand. He opens it with trembling fingers. Inside, a single, blood-stained photograph of the memorial, taken from a vantage point no one should have had. Next to it, a flash drive, its label blank. As the detective plugs it in, grainy footage flickers to life. The uninvited guest, face masked, watching the ceremony from the shadows. The timestamp is tonight. A note falls from the package, its message chilling in its simplicity. You still don't see me, the story isn't over. The detective slumps in his chair, grief and anger warring in his chest. He looks out the rain-streaked window, the town's lights blurred and distant. His voice is low, cracked with exhaustion and resolve. We chase shadows, hoping for answers that never come. Every loss is a wound that never truly heals. Justice feels like a promise made in the dark, sometimes kept, more often broken. But we keep searching, because the dead deserve our memory, and the living deserve our courage. The truth is out there, somewhere between hope and fear. And until the last secret is brought into the light, I won't stop. Not tonight. Not ever. The camera lingers on the detective's determined face, then the package, its contents a stark reminder. The uninvited guest is still at large, and some mysteries refuse to sleep. Fade to black. As dawn breaks over Hollow Creek, the darkness that once clung to every corner begins to lift. The detective, weary but resolute, stands before the townspeople in the newly restored square. Sunlight glimmers on the memorial, where fresh flowers rest, a tribute to those lost and those left behind. The uninvited guest's identity is no longer a secret. The footage on the flash drive led the detective to a forgotten house at the edge of town, where he found Anna, Ethan's estranged sister, driven by grief and resentment over the secrets that tore her family apart. Her masked presence at the memorial was a desperate plea for the truth to be acknowledged, for wounds to be recognized that had festered in silence for too long. Her confession, filled with tears and remorse, brought clarity to the chaos. She had not harmed anyone, but her actions forced the town to confront the pain it tried to bury. Ethan and Lacey's fate, once shrouded in rumor, is finally revealed. Their disappearance was not the work of a sinister plot, but the result of a tragic accident, one that Anna had witnessed but, paralyzed by fear and guilt, kept secret all these years. With the truth brought to light, their families find solace, their memories honored not with suspicion but with love. The town gathers beneath the morning sky. Old grievances are set aside as neighbors embrace, sharing stories and tears. The detective, his own scars now part of the town's tapestry, finds comfort in the unity that has grown from tragedy. Forgiveness, once unimaginable, begins to take root. A final shot lingers on the memorial, now bathed in golden light. The camera sweeps over faces, some marked by loss, others by hope. Children laugh nearby, their voices mingling with the gentle breeze. Life, fragile but resilient, moves forward. The detective's voice returns, softer now, filled with hard-won peace. In the end, the truth is not a weapon, but a bridge between past and present, sorrow and healing. We remember, we forgive, and we carry each other through the darkness. This is how we honor the lost. This is how we find our way home. Words appear on screen. In memory, there is healing. In truth, there is hope. Together, we endure. Fade out as the sun rises fully, illuminating Hollow Creek. Forever changed, but finally at peace.